All that matters to me is they're suing me for $17 million, which will bankrupt me, affect our family, affect our business, and also scare other people not to peacefully protest.
Ben Pennings and his wife run a psychology clinic in suburban Brisbane. He's been a climate activist for over 30 years. And in 2017, he turned his attention to the Adani coal mine in the Galilee Basin in Western Queensland.
I got arrested twice in the Stop Adani movement. One was for not moving away quick enough when a police officer asked me to move out the front of a business, and the second time was for trespass.
In 2020, Adani decided that they had had enough and took legal action.
There was a knock at the front door, and a large man in a very nice suit handed me a pile of folders about this high, which I struggled to even carry, and he didn't say a word.
Adani's initial claim sought $600 million in damages from Ben Pennings. That figure was revised to $17 million earlier this year.
I was in shock. I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that this was happening, and yet I knew it was a risk. But like Ben, I would never have imagined all of this.
We approached Adani for an interview, but the company refused. It claims Mr Pennings has orchestrated a sustained campaign of harassment and intimidation against Adani's business, employees, contractors and potential business partners spanning almost a decade. Adani also claims that Ben illegally obtained and used confidential information vital to the company's operations. They say they want that information back.
I'm one of thousands or tens of thousands of people involved in the Stop Adani movement, but because I've been loud and proud and in the media, it seems like they're going after me as a figurehead.
Among the hundreds of court documents delivered by Adani, Ben made an unsettling discovery.
They wanted to raid our house for 2 days, so they were applying to the Supreme Court in secret hearings to have a whole lot of people come through our house for 2 days to try and find supposedly, secret confidential information of Adani's they think that I have.
Ben has been issued with a court order to hand over his phone, laptop and other devices.
I've let Adani to go through my phone with an outside expert and through my laptop. I can provide them with emails and any documents that they want, and they need to provide us with documents.
Adani also hired private investigators to conduct surveillance of Ben's family.
When I was looking through some of the many folders, and there's a photo of me walking a 9-year-old girl to school. The fact that they could follow your wife and kids around, and that's legal, I didn't know that was possible.
That drew this response from Adani.
These activities were undertaken legally and were nothing more than our proactive effort to avoid causing any unnecessary distress to Mr Pennings' children.
It's just extraordinary that they would even think about it, let alone do it.
I feel furious, absolutely furious. And even though it's been over 2 years, it still feels unbelievable.
It's relatively unusual in a case involving alleged theft of confidential information to see someone who is a recipient of the information sued. Normally it's the person who's alleged to have stolen the information who finds themselves more in the gun.
Over the course of 2 years, there have been several attempts at settlement, all of them unsuccessful. So, how long could this go on?
How long is a piece of string, I'm afraid, but typically cases of this kind are document heavy, resource intensive, very stressful and very expensive. It's not unusual for them to be measured in years rather than months, and they take a toll on all involved.
I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair on my dad. I think it's unfair on our family. The longer they can draw it out, the more they can win, because the more we have to pay in legal fees, the more there's the overarching fear over everything we do that we could lose everything. And it's not fair, and they don't deserve that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all about the bloody court case and how I'm travelling and her worry about me. I don't know why Isabella makes me feel so sad.
So far, Ben's had to raise over $600,000 for his defence, as well as paying a portion of Adani's legal costs as well.
If Adani succeeds in the case, it will have simply enforced its commercial rights to protect its valuable confidential information. On the other hand, if Adani fails in the litigation, For the sake of argument, if it's shown that its arguments are without foundation, then the result undoubtedly would be that it's brought heavy-handed litigation which has silenced, or at least had a chilling effect on public criticism.
They accuse me of intimidation, but I'm one person, living in suburban Brisbane. I'm not a multi-billionaire with dozens of lawyers and endless money to fight this. It is a David versus Goliath fight. I'm the David with the tiny little stone, and the Goliath is the second, third richest person in the world.
Look, it's so appalling to see the treatment of activists and protesters who are just trying to do the right thing in Australia, isn't it?
I guess there's such a long history with these sorts of cases, right? And it's so difficult to even present it all in one story like that. And undoubtedly the company feels very strongly about this individual and what he's been up to over years. But I think it is sometimes worth considering the impact on the individuals.
Particularly when you're presenting to that individual a photograph secretly taken of their 9-year-old daughter. That's overstepping the mark.